Hey everybody, Jerrod Sessler here. I want to run through some points about this Dignity Act that you may have heard is going through the House. I'm not sure if this will get to the House floor, but there's a good chance that it very well could. And then I guess it'll be up to Speaker Johnson whether he decides to allow a vote on it. But there are ways around that. And as you may have heard, our representative, Dan Newhouse, is a co-sponsor on this piece of garbage. Just to be clear, what the Dignity Act does is it's mass amnesty. You thought what happened under Ronald Reagan was bad when 20-some million people were allowed into the country as a result of that, of his signature. This would be wildly worse, and it's downplayed by some members of Congress, but the truth is every single Democrat will sign for this, and that's the thing that ought to tell you what's wrong with it. There are several Republicans, Dan Newhouse included, who are supporting this, even co-sponsoring it. There's a bunch of problems with this. Number one, it is a mass amnesty bill. The biggest problem that I see right out of the gate is it shuts down all of the momentum that President Trump and his administration and his cabinet have done to encourage self-deportation. ICE is what we're all hearing about, but the truth is the majority of the deportation has been self-deportation, and we need that to continue. We have somewhere between 30 and 40 million illegals in this country, and probably half of them came in the last 10 years. So certainly during Obama, and combine that with Biden administration, and there's no way that we have enough staff to be able to deport all those people. And so if you think about the mentality that has been created masterfully by President Trump, it's to create a circumstance where these folks are encouraged to go back to their home country, go back to the country where they are a legal citizen. It started with El Salvador, watching the videos of the way the prisoners are handled in El Salvador. It's very scary. If you're an invader in America today and you're looking at those videos thinking, man, I don't want to be picked up by ICE and be sent to El Salvador prison. That looks scary. Maybe I should go back to my home country. Go even further. We have Alligator Alcatraz. $450 million. I personally think the whole thing is a psyop. Maybe it's not. Maybe there are people that are going to be housed down there. But the idea of if I was an illegal invader, the idea that I was going to get sent to Alligator Alcatraz in the middle of, swampland with a bunch of alligators, I would think seriously about going back to my home country. Combine that with talks, they're also getting estimates. And again, I don't know if this is actually true, but I do know that the government is getting estimates on restoring Alcatraz in the harbor, the Bay of San Francisco, which used to be a high security prison. I doubt, can you imagine the crocodile tears by some of the people in California if that actually happened? But I think my point is this. $1,000 they're willing to offer. They flipped this app that Joe Obama's administration put together to allow people to enter the country illegally and with ease, even through airplanes, through our ports in all these different cities, with free tickets and free housing and free food and credit cards with money on them, all on our dime. President Trump and his team flipped that app to allow people to self-deport, and if they do, they get $1,000, plus they're paying for their travel. So they're incentivizing these people to self-deport. The number one negative thing that this stupid, idiotic Dignity Act, which is not a bit of dignity, does is it shuts down all of the momentum that's taken 6+ months to build to get these people to self-deport. It also stops. If this was to pass, it would pretty much stop deportation efforts in their tracks, the way the bill is written, and I'll tell you more reasons why. It also gives gangsters a pathway to citizenship. The bill says that you cannot be eligible for this pathway to citizenship if you're in a gang. Guess what? The next paragraph says that ICE is legally prohibited from using any of the databases that they have access to determine whether or not the people that are claiming to want to go through this process are actually members of a gang. So what's the point of saying gang members can't do it if we have no legal way of determining who's in a gang and who's not? It's a typical Washington, D.C. swampy thing to do. There's 12 months grace period immediately as soon as the bill passes, meaning all deportation shuts down for 12 months as they try to figure it out. You're not going to figure out 20, 30, 40 million people in 12 months. It's just not going to happen. What we need as American people is we need the pressure to continue to encourage these people to, number one, self-deport back to the country that they are legal citizens of. And then if they want to come to the U.S., use the legal immigration process to do that. Everybody is saying that. That is the most dignified thing to do. Again, I mentioned it offers a pathway for up to 40 million illegals. It halts the momentum of self-deportation. I talked about that. It raises visa caps. It opens up new family purpose visas, more of our tax money. It allows F1 student visas to be dual intent. So in other words, offering them a pathway through a green card. And it also speeds up employment-based immigration. There's also some other provisions in it where it takes DACA to the next step. For those of you who don't know, the folks that were caught up in DACA, those are the minor kids that were brought into the country during the Obama administration, and he allowed for them to stay legally. They're not citizens, they can't vote, they can work and live here normally, but there's no pathway to ever take that back. The Supreme Court even ruled on this, and they basically said, yeah, the executive order that President Obama signed was unconstitutional, but it doesn't matter now because you've already basically offered a pathway to citizenship for these people. So there's no turning around now. And so this Dignity Act gives DACA the next step. I'm not necessarily disagreeing with that. What I'm disagreeing with is giving 40 million more people that same step. Like, we cannot do this. This is not right. Once you initiate citizenship, once you offer that or even begin down the pathway, you can't morally take it back. And so I just say, let's not do it to begin with. And so Dan Newhouse, I'm going to clip that on his comments in just to show you he is supporting this. He tries to soft pedal it and say that it's just about workers and about ag workers, but that's not the truth. President Trump has already said that there needs to be a pathway for these folks, and I'll tell you, I totally support that. There are people here that came here legally 20, 30. I have friends that have people that have worked for them for 40 years, and those folks came here under a different premise than the people that came here over the last 10 years or so. Those people came here to work and to make money and to work hard and to serve this great country, and they love this country, and they are totally against this illegal invasion that's happened over the last few years. So here's the thing, I totally agree. We need to have a pathway for those people, and figuring out how to part those seas and divide that is going to be difficult. But I would also say openly that we have to call out the employers of those people. Some of which are good friends of mine. And I'll just be honest with you. You should have invested in making sure those people got their pathway years ago. And now is the time for you to do it now. If you've got people that, have worked for you for a long time, then why not invest in helping them? They're not part of this invasion that's happened over the last 10 years. And so, so Newhouse tries to soft shoe it into that cubbyhole, which I think few of us disagree with, but that's not what this act is actually about. That's not what the actual thing says. And so in his swampish-like character, he's manipulating the actual facts as he speaks in this conference. And frankly, I'm just so unimpressed with the way he presents. It lacks passion. It lacks knowledge. He doesn't seem to really understand what the issues are. And I'm just really not sure what exactly he's motivated by, but I'm just really disappointed with the way that he presents every single time, whether it's in person here in the district or in Washington, D.C. The guy just is not a good representative. He doesn't have the passion. He doesn't seem to have the knowledge. and he certainly has enough scandals around his name to just completely discredit him. So let me just clip his comments onto this. But this is a big deal, and this is not going away. This is one of the big reasons why President Trump has endorsed me, because he knows I'm not foolish enough to do something like this. This is an absolute betrayal by Dan Newhouse and the voters of Washington's 4th District who voted for President Trump to knowing that this deportation effort was one of his big campaign promises. So very disappointed in this. As much as I want to take this seat and disinfect it, I take no pleasure in my congressman, my representative, making such stupid decisions as what he's doing in this one. So anyway, watch his comments here, and I appreciate you following me.
I'd like to introduce Congressman Dan Newhouse. I'm sure that was no coincidence. It just happened on purpose. Good morning, everybody. I'm honored to be here in front of you to welcome you to Washington, D.C., and welcome you to the fight, to the effort that we have going on in Congress to make sure that we can protect the workforce of the United States. Immigrant workers are the most important workers that we have. They truly are, because without them, from my perspective, we would not have an agricultural industry. I'm a farmer as you heard, from the great state of Washington. We depend on immigrant workers to make sure that all of you have food on the table when you sit down to eat with your families. It is one of the most basic industries that you can think of. And without a workforce, we are truly putting ourselves at risk. With everything that's going on in the world today and the pressures that we're feeling, all of us are feeling, in increased prices at the grocery store, one thing that we have to do that will help keep those prices from continuing to rise is ensure that American agriculture has a legal workforce. It's a requirement. It's a necessity. I, along with many others in Congress, and I should shout out some of their names. I just left a meeting with Congresswoman Zoe Lofgren from California, Congressman Mike Simpson from Idaho. The list is long of the people that are engaged in this effort to make sure that agriculture has a dependable workforce on into the future that is legal, that we can be proud of the fact that we employ people that are in this country legally. That's what we all want, the workers and the employers. And so we have to continue to do that. I am very optimistic. So Rebecca, Abig, I want to thank all of you for your helping to bring this issue to the level that it needs to be in order to have success. I think we have a lot of things that are working in our favor right now. I truly do. The current administration, President Trump has made it his priority to bring down grocery prices. My answer to that, make sure that we have a legal, dependable workforce. That's very, very basic. Very the workforce. A year ago, as you heard, the border was in crisis. Rebecca gave you the numbers. We went from, I think, a year ago, February, over 144,000 encounters of people trying to come into the country illegally. This year in February, that number was down to like 8,000. A huge, remarkable decrease. So the reason that many people in Congress have told me that they can't support our efforts because we have a crisis at the southern border, guess what? That reason is gone. Yeah. That excuse no longer exists. And so I think we have an opportunity in front of us to make sure that our workforce in agriculture and in many other aspects of our economy can be here legally. And the third reason I'm so optimistic is, over the last several years, members of the agricultural community, both on the labor side and the employer side, have been doing what is key to making our system work. And you know what that is? They are making their voices heard to their members of Congress. People understand now how important this issue is, how important it is to food security, as I mentioned, but national security as well. So for those reasons, I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for helping elevate this issue, for getting the word out, because I truly think this is the Congress that we can make it happen. The credit is going to go to everybody that's making the effort to be here in Washington, D.C., to help those of us in Congress who are leading the charge be successful. Thank you very much.
American values do not align with leftists because they hate America. We must engage by giving our dollars and our talents to defend our great American values. Visit JerrodSessler.com to donate and get involved. Say yes to America.